It's time for Hello, Mr. President. Now, as you're well aware, the BECE students are writing their exams, and it was a very challenging time for our young brothers and sisters. And many of them are going through different experiences. And we have a case where in Chamba happens to sit on the road between Bimbilla and Salaga in the northern region. Now, there's an NGO that works with some kids. They refer to them as youth at risk youth, you know, and they've been doing this work, I mean, in Accra, and then also they have operations outside in different places in the country. And one of their students, the at-risk youth that they were working with in Chamba, when it was time for BECE, they decided to send the children to school, to go write their exams, right? They don't, unfortunately, Chamba doesn't have a center for them to write the exam, so they have to travel to Bimbilla to go and write the exam, the BECE examination. So they took their 7 or so children off to the station to see their kids off and say goodbye to them and wish them well for their exams. Now, when they went there, they saw some things that were very upsetting, and so they decided to send us some video here on Hello, Mr. President. Let's take a look.
I'm called Latif Musudo John.
Who? Talk like
Latif Musudo John.
Okay. John, how are you going to be Bimbilla?
We're taxed to pay some money for the car.
Okay.
Send us to Bimbilla. But unfortunately, some of us couldn't get the money.
Okay.
And then some politicians have made it known that they pay for us.
Okay.
Unfortunately, on our part, 2 days ago, they said they cannot pay the money.
Oh.
So we don't know how. Although some are paid, but some of us couldn't get it.
Oh. So now you couldn't get to pay. What are you going to do?
We just manage.
You manage. How are you going to pay the car? Because it's not free. So how are you going to pay? When you come back, what are you going to do to pay the money?
Nowadays, we children, we don't have anything. So we are pleading on. We are pleading that anybody that will have mercy on us.
All right, so here's a gentleman who was on his way to write his BECE from Chamba to Bimbilla. And I have the co-CEO of the foundation, the NGO that did this story for us and brought this to our attention. We're going to speak with her and ask her exactly what were the problems that she saw on the ground. Good morning, Lucy.
Good morning.
How are you? I'm very well, thank you, and welcome to Breakfast Daily. Now,
thank you.
Yes, Lucy, what are the challenges you saw, and what made you feel like it was necessary to bring this to our attention?
Well, as a parent, when these children were going to write the BECE, we wanted to make a follow-up and see them off from Chamba Station to the Bimbilla. And exactly when we got there, we realized that the bus that the government has promised to pay for their transportation, they did not do it. So the children were there with no transportation fare in the first place. So in fact, it was like a red flag. So I decided to follow them at Bimbilla when they get there. So our team members were there. And then when we got there, we realized there were about 300 children write the BECE in 5 days. They were going to be hosted in 5 days with bad conditions, very horrific problems. They were packed in the makeshift dorms, 50 in a room, no social distancing, no face masks. They went with no food. Those who went with food had coal pots. Imagine that they have to light this coal pot, feed themselves before they can study. The problem I also found was that there was no electricity at all. There was no electricity in the rooms. Some of the dorms have no windows. In fact, I just can't describe how the whole thing was. And the horrible thing was there was only 2 bathrooms, 2 toilets for these 300 children. The government was going to feed them only once a day. So we are feeding them every day. We travel 2 hours from Chamba to Bimbila to feed them every day. And I think this is unfair to the children because they cannot compete with the other children in Accra. We are expecting them to do very well. And if they go through things like that, I wonder what they're going to be. I did a lot of research and I found that they don't do well with this. And because of that, they are cut off. They don't go to school anymore. They pass themselves, go to Accra, continue with Kayayu. So it's like their future they don't have future. In fact, I'm so much sad about these conditions. There was no water. The children will walk 3 miles to another place to fetch water. They will walk 3 miles to a village where the center is to write the exam. And after cooking, after 6 o'clock, that's when they want to walk and go to their place to study. They walk through the bush with no light. They come back and then sleep in a dorm that there's no light. They don't have bed. They don't have tables to study. They sleep on the floor and study. So you can imagine how long they can study before they go to sleep. And then the next morning, they don't know where food is coming from before they write the exam. This is very sad situation. Very, very sad.
So let me just clarify this. You said you've been helping to support them by sending food every day to the
every day. Yeah, we cook food from Chamba and then carry it on a motorcade or motor bicycles. Yeah. For 2 hours on the bad road, putting those people living at risk. Yeah. Every day to go and feed children because they're fed once a day from the government. Okay,
Lucy, let me find out. Your NGO was looking after how many children?
We were looking at 100 children, but 8 of them were going to write the BECE.
Okay.
Them off, and then this is when we found the problem.
Okay.
And since we are there to rescue the youth at risk and make sure we advocate for them, we wanted to take this matter up so that next year they can write their exam in their own city or town because it's not necessary for them to travel so far to go and write the exam under this horrible condition.
Yeah. So this food provision intervention that you're providing for them, are you sending food for your 8 kids, or are you opening it up a bit more to include other children as well?
To more people.
I see.
All of them, yeah.
Wow.
Almost all of them. Because many people had no food. They only have yams and Kobe. And I don't know what they can be fed on with these yams and Kobe. Nothing. A child of 10 years, between 10 years and 14, I don't know what we expect them to do under this condition. It's very, very sad.
Now, so the conditions you mentioned there about the lavatory situation, is it a school that has these toilet facilities, or is it
yes.
What is it? What is that place actually?
Yes, in fact, these makeshift dorms are schools that
okay.
I think BECE, but then for the examination purposes, they want to host these children there for 5 days. But then the condition is very bad. Okay. They don't have windows, they don't have light. They sleep on the floor on mats and then try to study before the next day they write exam. And I cannot compare these children with Christ the King or Morning Star children in Accra.
Yeah, well, it's very unfortunate, and thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. We have tried to reach the Director of Education at the GS Northern region, but there has been no response from them. We will keep pushing the matter, and hopefully government will get on top of this, and this will not repeat itself next year. Thank you very much, Lucy, for doing this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us. All right, so you heard it there. That was Lucy Saki. She is the co-CEO of the K.A. Emisa Foundation. And basically, they were just out there looking out for the kids that they had rescued, as it were, 8 of them, and basically decided that, look, let's go and say bye-bye to them and see them off to the station. And when they got there, lo and behold, they just saw this. That raised a lot of questions, and then only to follow up and find out that there's all of this that's going on that shouldn't be going on. And the GES Northern Region has not responded to our calls. So I hope somebody is watching who can take a decision and make things happen. We're here. We're really waiting for you to get in touch with us. All right, there's another incident on the Ashakai Window Road. There's a report that came in, a video from one of our viewers, and condition of the road is nothing to write home about. Let's take a look at Eugene Achampon's report.
My name is Eugene Achampon. I live in Asake Window Road. I speak from Takrady. Mr. President, as you can see a car vehicle going, we have a very strong problem here. We have a problem with our roads, and we find difficulties even using our cars on that road. It's spoiling lots of cars here, and when it rains, it's even worse. Please, you promised that there have been some roads that have been constructed. Here you go. We have difficulties using this route, and we beg you, please find a solution to this problem. Thank you.
All right, so you've seen the road there. It's amazing how our duty bearers just don't seem to want to respond and to care for their neighborhoods. And this is in our the second or third biggest city in the country. And so I don't understand what's going on. We did try to reach out to the MCE. He declined to comment, gave us some reasons. But we hope that he's seeing this report, and his bosses are also seeing this report. MCE, we're waiting for you to come back to us and explain what it is. What's your defense for what's happening there in Ashakai Window Road? All right, let's go to the Nanton Balshe. We have a report from there too. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll continue the conversation.
We are facing challenge concerning our route, and we are appealing for government to come and help us in order to make the road good for us. Whenever a woman is in labor, we are finding it difficult to send her to a hospital due to the nature of the road. Also, students are also finding it difficult to get to the school just because of the nature. During the rainy season, car cannot move from town to that place. So because of that, whenever we have a sick person in that place, we are finding it difficult to send that person to hospital. So we are appealing for government to come and fix our route for us so that everything will be good, and also we can be able to pass through in order to get to where we are in need.
All right, so that was Osman Yusuf, and we have him on the line actually, but we'll talk to him in just a bit. We did try to reach out to the MCE. He's currently having consultations, he says, with the Highways Authority, but he will respond to us next week. So we're hoping to hear from him, Honorable Rahman. Osman Yusuf, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Okay. So try to let us know a little bit more what's actually happening since you sent this video to us. Has anything changed? Is anything happening there? Can let us know what's going on.
Okay. In fact, we are facing a serious challenge concerning our route. Balshe is divided into two. We have old Balshe and then new Balshe. But we are using one school.
Okay.
So all the students in new Balshe are going to the old Balshe because school is located. And during the students are finding it difficult to go to school because the road will be flooded, and sometimes the teachers also absent themselves from school because of the route. And even when it rains, it will be flooded, and the water is even running straight to the school. In fact, that one is even collapse the school building. So the road needs a small bridge.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
going fit. The westerness is in labor. In fact, that is where the problem is. How to send her to hospital?
Yeah. So, Osman,
Even to Mr. President,
yes.
to come to our aid by giving us a good route so that the students, the teachers, as well as the pregnant women, as I said earlier, can have access to the route.
So, Osman, you know the MCE is the representative of the president, right?
Okay.
Have you had any interactions with the MCE of your area at all?
No, I don't have his contact. I'm yet to do that because I want to get his contact so that we can talk and see how this problem can be solved.
What's the nearest regional coordinating council to you?
The coordinating council,
Yeah, what's the nearest one to where you are?
Nantong.
Nantong. Yeah, so
Yes.
so maybe you should try going to the coordinating council office and see if you can reach out.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Yusuf. Osman Yusuf, thank you very much. We appreciate that. All right, so that was Osman Yusuf. He's a resident of Nantong Balshe. And as he said there, when it rains, the road gets flooded. Not only that, it cuts off them, as a community from other communities. This is a road that is used to access schools because everybody who lives in the area has to travel to go to school. So it's a real big problem. And just as in the case of the earlier report that we had, the Chamba kids, it's important for us to make the competitive playing ground fair and even in terms of education. So I think it's good that we have free education and giving access, but if you give access and in terms of you can now go to school, but then the road is the reason why they can't go, we are back to square one. So we need to fix all the things. We can't just fix a part of it and leave the rest. Okay, so we want you to keep your reports coming in wherever you find yourself. Thank you very much to Lucy Saki and her team. Thank you also to Osman Yusuf, to Eugenia Champon for sending in those videos. We appreciate it. Anybody that's watching us, wherever you find yourself, whatever part of the country you find yourself in, please send us a 60-second videos, short videos. Let's see what's going on in your community. Also send us an email if you can, at hello Mr. President TV @gmail.com. We will air the issue and we will call on the duty bearers and policymakers to make sure they do the right thing, and all of us in Ghana should be treated fairly. And so that in the case of education, as we've been talking about this morning, even though it's a road issue, you can see how it would disadvantage kids who are also, getting educated. In the first case, it's a children going to BECE, but look at all the struggles that they're going through. The kids in Accra are not going through those challenges. And then this case in Nantong Balshe too, the same. And then, of course, Asakai Window Road.